Hello and welcome back to Alpha DevCon 2022. I'm Dave McCormick and I'm joined today by Larry Grappito from Black Ink. A couple weeks ago, Larry showed off an application that he's been working on actually for quite some time, and it's the EasyTrack booking system. I think I mentioned a little bit about it, how it can be used for keeping track of students and going on trips, but I'll let you talk a little bit more about that as well. It's a really, I think, very impressive, and it has a ton of features in it. So I thought you'd all be very interested in it. So hello, Larry, are you there?
I am here.
Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and make you the presenter. So just in 1 second, you're going to see a dialog box here. If I can get my GoToMeeting interface back. Whoops, that's weird. GoToMeeting. Ah, that's weird. Hang on one moment. This usually doesn't happen. I know, best laid plans. All right, give me 1 moment and I will figure out what's going on. Should only take a second. All right, looks like it should be connecting. There we go. It was hiding. Probably user error, I'll be honest. So let me go ahead and make you the presenter. I see it here now. Okay, and you should see a dialog box now on your screen there, Larry. You should be able to choose it from there.
I did. Is my screen being shown?
Yep, there it is. I'm seeing a let's get started connected to GoToWebinar and a reminder screen on your screen. That's the screen I'm looking at.
Okay. Well, all right. So I guess I have the floor now, and hopefully everybody can see my screen.
We can see your screen and we can hear you. So take it away.
All right. Well, what I'll be showing today is the main application in use at a company called Student Adventures. Student Adventures is a student travel company. We take groups of students, generally a bus, 1 to 9 buses, to places like Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York, Florida, Disney, stuff like that. So we manage all the arrangements. So they get to the school, we pick them up in a bus, we take them to the destination, we run them around to a bunch of different places and take them home. Now that makes it sound a little bit simple, but just want to give you an overview. And the system you're seeing today runs basically everything. Everything that you want to know about any of the trips is in this system. We'll see that in just a moment. A teensy bit about me. I actually started using Alpha in 1985 at Oakland University. Back then, I think it was Alpha 3, Alpha 4. Then I stopped using it after college and didn't get back to it until the very tail end of 2000, like in 2010, which was the tail end of version 10 and just starting into version 11. I actually purchased version 10 and then got a free upgrade to version 11 a couple months later. The reason I tell you this is because this is the system that I started building back in 2010. So you're going to see stuff that looks really old and dated, and then you're going to see some stuff that looks newer. And it's all mixed together because, the system has been in use. Hold on 1 second.
No problem. And actually, while Larry stepped away, there are 2 people who've just written in saying that they cannot see Larry's screen. So can you let me know if you see a screen which says Student Adventures, or if you don't see a screen which says Student Adventures? Because we may need to restart.
Unfortunately, I haven't said anything that or shown anything yet. So
okay.
Can they hear me?
So I can hear you just fine. I just want to make sure people are still looking at a screen. Yep, someone says, yeah, they can see it. Okay, so yep, they can see it, they can see it, they can see it. Perfect. Okay, great. Yep, we're good.
Okay, so sorry about that. My dog barked and had to let. So what we're going to do, the system was built, like I said, starting in about 2010. There are two parts to the system. There's the administrative side, which the office staff uses, and then there's the customer portal, which all the customers use. The customer portal does registration, takes payments, lets trip sponsors see who's registered for their trip, sets up rooming lists and everything. We'll go through that in a moment. I'm going to show you the administrative side first to give you a basis for how it all works together, and then we'll look at the customer portal. This here is just the Student Adventures website. It has nothing to do with Alpha. It's just a standard website. So keeping in mind that this started in version 2010, the base administrative system is all tabbed UIs. It's tabbed UIs with a bunch of grids. There's lists. And there's some UXs in here. When the staff member logs in, they're taken to this My Tasks screen where now I'm logged in as me, so I don't have any tasks, but there's alerts.
First, okay, there we go. There's a slight screen lag. So right now, what's popped up is your main menu, and now you've got the home tab where it says please select a button to continue. So sometimes with GoToWebinar, it's a little slow, but I think we're good now.
I'm sorry. Well, then I'll give it another second for the My Tasks tab to show up.
All right, here we go.
I see what you're seeing. I see just my screen.
Right, of course.
Should I maybe disconnect and reconnect again? Or?
Yeah, I think we might be okay. I'm looking at your My Tasks screen right now. I can just prompt you as we go.
Okay.
We're on the tab.
We're on the alerts tab. Typical staff member would have alerts telling them like maybe we have not enough people signed up for a trip, or maybe there's a trip coming up and not all the reservations are completed. And so these alerts here scan through the system for super important stuff that's going on and alerts them if there's something that they need to deal with. Action Mail is sort of an internal mail system. Again, I don't have any. To me, a staff member would. And it's just, I'll show you what an Action Mail is when we get to a trip. And then the important thing, there's trips, there's quotes, and a whole bunch of other stuff. People have opening reports. We'll give it a second for the opening report screen to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Each staff member has reports that they run weekly. Some are daily or monthly, but most of them are weekly. And they can print. Sometimes they can view them. Like I'll click on view here. I don't know if there's any upcoming hotel check-ins. No, I guess not. It's fall. We don't have as many trips going out. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Oh.
So, but this would show a reservation is what check-ins were coming up in the near future for them to work on. So then I also have a trip list. This is a standard grid with a search feature. And at the bottom, there are buttons for printing reports off of whatever you search for. These buttons here are mostly action buttons, but some of them were developed before action buttons were actually part of the system. So they're action buttons that are in a grid line that are hidden, that are then displayed at the bottom of the screen. That's how you did it back in version 10. Anyways, if I click on one of the trip IDs, these are linkable things that open up into a trip. I've already got one open, so we'll just go there. The trip screen is also a grid. Now, this is a grid with a tabbed UI inside the grid. And then to the right is a UX with information about the trip. And then below, I go to a simpler screen. How far behind is the lag? What are you seeing right now?
Well, right now I see your mouse is underneath the accounting tab, and on the right side it says School Organization Anchor Bay MS South.
Right. Let me know when the trip notes.
When trip notes appear, yeah. This is surprisingly slow. This does happen every once in a while with GoToWebinar, but
My internet connection is pretty good.
yeah, no, it typically isn't you or me. It's what's going on their server. Someone's asking while we're waiting for that, whether or not you on one of your things. Oh my gosh! Finally, we've got here trip notes. I'll get back to that question. So trip notes is now loaded, and I see $39 increase from 2022.
Right, that's just the notes about the trip. But what I want to show is that there are also tabs at the bottom of the screen. So it's a grid by other grids, and with a tab pane at the bottom and a tab pane in the middle of the grid. And these at the very bottom, like action mail, these are action mails pertaining to this trip, and it's another, connected grid. And the counts, and I'm going to click on the counts here, and in another minute, you'll actually see them.
All right, I'll let you know. That's funny. Various people that I'm talking about are saying, "Oh, it's coming right up for me." So there's definitely something up with GoToWebinar. I bet you the recording will be fine. But thanks for being patient with us, Larry.
Well, I guess I'll try to keep it moving as much as possible. What
Okay.
this shows us here is that there are 32 students allowed to book, although we're booking for 72. So, and the quote was based on 56. So what this means is, as people register online, it will allow up to 32 people to register, and then they'll start waitlisting people. Not that that means anything to you guys, but what we do is we waitlist the people, and when we feel that they're enough to open up a second bus, then we email all those people that are on the wait list and say, okay, you can join the trip now, and then they can log in and make a payment and get on the trip. All right. So that what I wanted to also show you though is this is a grid here on the left, link to a grid, link to another grid, link to another grid. And they come up pretty fast. Oh, so with the screen slowdown issue, I skipped over a section. I wanted to let you know this system is running on 3 ZebraHost servers. One server is the MySQL server. It's MySQL version 8. One server is using Alpha Classic server with 4 instances. IIS is serving as the security, holds a security certificate and manages the load balancer for the 4 instances. And then a third server is a dev server. It's also an Alpha Classic that I put usually the most current version of Alpha on to keep. In case anybody's wondering how this was hosted, that's how we go.
That's great.
So the thing I like about this grid setup, I can click on anything. Just about everything here is clickable. So I can go into there, takes me into the reservation for this tour director, the reservation screen. This is the screen that shows the reservation. He's reserved for this begin date and time, for that end date time, which is basically the whole trip. And from here, I can click to his vendor information, which is another grid with a tabbed UI. I think you're starting to see how this all works. And and then each vendor has products, and each product has pricing. And we use all that information to create a quote, which we'll go into next. And I know I'm just kind of giving a general show off overview of the system. We'll get into some of the stuff you haven't seen 1,000 times in just a minute. Go to all quotes. And so each quote has accounts doesn't have all the other stuff because it's just a quote here. And all of this works together to create an itinerary. I'm going to start with the narrative itinerary. And while we're waiting for that, I will click on the graphical itinerary also. This isn't the screen pausing, it's taking a second to come up. All right, so this is a narrative itinerary. Why does it open in a window instead of a tab? I don't remember, because that's the way I programmed it 20 years ago, you know? And I changed it. So the narrative itinerary is a quick overview with, in the vendor information, we have these little quips on what's at each vendor. Lunches are blue, or meals are blue anyways. And they don't have the hotel on the screen. Looks like we got a little thing here I need to fix. Anyways, it's a narrative itinerary. It goes over what it is, what time, what day, all that other fun stuff. This is a multi-page document, and it's what you would normally get when you're going on a trip. We also have this graphical itinerary. A graphical itinerary is a graphical view of the trip. It shows you the same stuff. It doesn't have any of the narrative stuff, but it gives you a one-page view. These are all the things you're doing on these days on the trip. Thing to note, these are all done using alpha reporting. Both of them make huge use of the print HTML. Time we'll go into this itinerary and I'll show you how it's built. We should have time. That's the main. I hope, I think we're gonna.
We do. We have at least 15 minutes, so we're good.
So
I'm sure it took longer than 15 minutes to build it, though. That's my guess. So yeah.
It did take a little longer than 15 minutes to build. All right, we're going to back out of some of this stuff. I'll show you one more thing in the administration side. We'll look at the participants list for this trip. So this is a list of all the participants, what their status is. This is a quicker list. We'll look at the accounting list, which also shows their balances and stuff. This is a 2019 trip we're in, so all the balances are paid, obviously. And so, people can get a quick overview of everything that's going on in the trip. So let's contrast this. I think I have that up already. Yes, let's go back. I had some stuff opened already, but so now we're going to look at the customer portal. As you can see, it's a completely different look. Special thanks to Steve Wood for his Alpha to Go template, which I used as the basis way back when to start the system, and also to Pat Brackkamp, who taught me everything I know about CSS and helped build some of the CSS in the system. Just saying. So I am logged in to the customer portal as a trip sponsor. The trip sponsor is the person who is responsible for the trip overall. He's the main contact person for the overall trip. He generally knows all the kids going on the trip. He's usually a teacher at the school that you're at. So this portal allows the sponsor to see who's registered for the trip and to do a bunch of other stuff, which we will briefly go over here as soon as this screen comes up. This is a big trip. So the sponsor can go in, they see all their participants. They've got a bunch of search stuff that they can do, like they can see who was dropped. In case we dropped somebody they didn't want to drop or whatever. There's a bunch of all these little buttons or search features that let them see what's going on. We have non-paying participants that go on the trip. I guess this trip didn't have it, so bad example. That is in contrast to the list that you saw over here a minute ago. This one's a grid. What you saw over in the portal was a list. So it's more mobile friendly. If I were to shrink the screen, it contrasts in. The sponsors have the ability to send text messages and emails to the participants. So I can send a new text here, which we're obviously not going to do, but so they can type in their message, they can pick who they want to send the message to, and then send it out. Like I said, we're not going to do. They can also send an email to people. The text messaging is primarily used for during the trip. If you want to get something out to all the passengers really quickly, you can go in here, send them a text message, and they'll have that text message in a matter of moments. And you can tell them things like, hey, everybody get back to the bus, or here we're stopped at this place. We're going to be here for an hour, and then try to be back at the bus by 2. Stuff like that. We send, on each trip, we send out probably 100 text messages like that, telling people where to go, what to do, stuff like that. So now we're going to do a little bit of fun stuff. I hope it's not going to lag too crazy. We're going to look at the rooming list. Let's go back to this trip. So generally, the kids stay in a hotel during the trip. This rooming list tells us who the person is, what room they're in, what bus they're on. If there's a hotel, we also put in the actual hotel number. So when we set up the list, we don't know what room they're actually going to be in. So we just start the rooms at 1 and go up till we're done with the rooms. In this case, there's 57 rooms. When we get the actual hotels, then we can put that into the system also, and it will tell us, we can print out a list, which we will do right now, of each hotel. So I'm going to do a rooming list with actual hotel numbers. And here it is. Hopefully everybody can see it. It's a list. It's got pink room numbers for the girls' rooms, blue room numbers for the boys' rooms. And it's in order by the room number. And, oh, there you go.
Great.
So how do they get to that? I'm going to look at that right now. What I have here is a drag and drop screen. This screen was created before drag and drop was an actual event on the list. Somebody had created a big JavaScript, and so I grabbed it and worked with a guy named Dan Hooley, who knows JavaScript way better than I do, and we built this thing. So I can grab a kid here, walk him over to room 1 and drop him in. Take this kid, walk him over to room 1, drop him in. And so on, and so on. All the way down the list. If I got more rooms, I can click next 5 rooms and it shows me the next 5 rooms. So just sit here, drag and drop their people until everybody's gone from the left. Now, in this case, it says room type issue, quad and single placed in room number 4. Look in room number 4 here. I've got a student quad. Don't know if you can see it, it's kind of small, and an adult single. So this person paid for a single room, and I just dropped them in with the student quad. Didn't mean to do that. Put them back over there, takes them out of the room, drops them back into the list over on the left. And you can do that. I did it again, sorry. Got to start paying attention. Drop in. So adult double, these two match. Take a couple more students over here. I've got this big button here that says help me assign rooms. It basically goes to a big PDF explaining the whole process. Just a little help feature. You can export the list to Excel. You can print it, which gives you the printout I just showed you a minute ago. Then I can continue to step 2. Which takes the people I've put into hotel rooms, and there's only 3 at the moment. That's all I've put into rooms, and it allows me to drag the rooms into a bus. This is only a 1-bus trip, so there's not a whole lot to do. You'd basically drag everybody in. But if there were multiple buses, there would be another bus showing underneath, bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, very similar to what you saw on the previous screen, except you're dragging hotel rooms into buses. Basically, if kids are rooming together, they're busing together. And there's another screen. I don't know if this is going to give us. This is actually a live trip, so when I'm done, I got to go move everybody back out.
There could be trouble. Yeah.
Right. So these are unassigned participants. These are people that are not in hotel rooms, and I can move them into a bus too, for when we just need it sometime. All right. And I don't think there's an easy way. I think this will take me back to the menu here. I say I think, even though I built the system, because I don't use the system every day. I put it together, work with it, but I probably haven't done a rooming list myself in a couple of years. I just get the call when it doesn't work.
Sure.
We also do, part of the trip, we do fundraisers. There's all sorts of stuff that can happen along here. I can also log in as a participant, and they see a completely different screen. So we will. Do that really quick. We give our participants a link so they can log in. Clicking on the link instead of having to type in their username. They can log in by typing their username and password, but they don't have to. So I've logged in. The Avery and Kimberly, it looks like a mom and daughter are going on a trip. I can click here for the trip menu. And they can look at they can make a payment. We'll click on then the payment portal, we use WorldPay. They can credit card payment or an ACH payment, or there's information there if they just want to send us a check. Most people, you can request payment from another parent. So if you click on here, I selected an adult passenger, but the basic thing's the same. They can put in the name of the person and the email address they're sending it to, the amount that they want from that person, and basically, I can basically sends an email out asking for money. And so the person can then click on the link in the email that they get and give a donation to the kid. Like if you wanted to send a link to grandma to, get $50 for your birthday and stuff like that. Food allergies, if they have any food allergies, they can put that information in, edit their username and password, find out their trip information, like what hotel they're staying at. Their motor coach isn't obviously set up yet. Stuff like that. The system, it's for a participant to get any information that they want about their trip. All right, so now.
That is fantastic.
So that is the system, how it works and stuff like that. We're actually at 12:15, so I don't know if you want me to keep going on and actually look at the inners of some stuff.
We
Or
can take a look, and also if there are any questions, that'd be good. We can run maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes over is fine.
have you seen any questions that we need to, hot
I'm
questions?
going through. Someone was asking about the Excel button on the screen, and what does that do, and how did it work? So that was back on one of your prior screens. I think it was like it wasn't an
So it
action
was
button, it was at the bottom.
probably this Excel button over here. Most of my grids have an Excel button. It basically just exports the data in this grid.
Right.
What you see on the screen and usually some hidden fields and stuff will just export to Excel. It's a standard.
Action JavaScript kind of thing. Yeah.
It's just a.
Excellent. Sounds good.
So this is what I was talking about before. This is that list. These are the buttons that are actually just showing in the action bar.
Mm-hmm. And then the last question, I think we only have time for one last question, and that is, what are you using for sending the text messages and the email delivery service? What services are you using for that?
We use Mandrill, SparkPost, and Twilio.
And Twilio.
Mandrill and SparkPost are for email, and Twilio is the text.
That's fantastic. Wow, very good. Larry, thank you very much for presenting this. This is a very, very complete and impressive system that you've built here with Alpha, and I'm glad that you showed it off. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I suspect since a lot of people could actually see it just fine, and it was just me and maybe a handful of others who couldn't, that the recording will come out just fine. And also, as a reminder, we are keeping the recordings in the portal, the DevCon content portal for now. So the buttons that you click on in the past to say join session now will say view recording once we put them up. So the ones for yesterday are done, and today's will be posted this evening as well. So Larry, thank you again for showing this off. Really very much appreciate it. And I'll talk to everyone else after lunch in just about an hour when we return. And let me see, I think that's actually me coming up next. Maybe it isn't.
We'll have a good conference.
Coming up next is mobile app deployment at 1:15. So we're going to take an hour break. Thank you again. Bye-bye.